herbal or botanicals, and then there's like other supplements like the fish oils and stuff. Yeah, that would fall within others too. Yeah, probiotics. So in our understanding of how to be healthy, all these things have to be considered, and the supplements will add to a better sleep. They'll add to easier recovery. They will add to areas in the diet that may not be. You have the full spectrum of your um, vitamins, but you're going to add to it. So I would never advise that in the course that we've covered, the supplements and things that we talked about would be a replacement, right? That has to be absolutely clear, because a lot of people, I wouldn't say it's a lot of people, but there are people who feel, especially young people, I think, they feel that, oh, I can eat whatever I want, and then I can just maybe take a smoothie or drink something, right? Right? And this type of mentality is dangerous. In the long run, it's quite detrimental. You can't even sustain it. It's like if you go to, if you have farming experience, people are using certain fertilizers for plant growth. Then if you give like potassium and there's different combinations that they make. They know that plants will grow fast from them. They're not very robust. They can fall sick, and then they need pesticides and things to help them protect themselves against certain insects. And so similarly, you could give supplements and you would see an effect on growth, or you would see one effect or another on the organism, which is us. But it's like that growth of a plant. It's not full, it's not robust, it's not strong. So there's no way that there is a spectrum of supplements, antioxidants and flavonoids and phytochemicals that are in foods that we have not discovered. And we cannot take those and extract every single one and put them in a pill, right? So the phytopharmacology, that's some of the things that we discussed as complementing one another, are only found in the foods. And and this is not negative towards people who restrict their food intake, but by restricting what you're eating, I'm never going to touch any animal products, or I'm never going to touch. There's now like these carnivore diets that they just don't eat anything except meats. What you're doing is you're depriving yourself of a big spectrum of nutrients, vitamins, and there's I don't even know what that word is. We don't have words for it yet. There's things like vitamins that are in between, right? The vitamins that provide benefits to us. So, nutrition. If all of our focus should be eating a whole foods diet. Who understands what I mean by whole foods diet? What do you guys think I mean by a whole foods diet? Yeah, so foods that are not almost prepared by anybody but you. You can't even trust restaurant food, because the restaurant industry there's such a small margin for that and you would know that they have to take shortcuts to mix it up with something else a little bit to get, so it would just kind of pass some flavor test, but you can't give a very high quality ingredient and then charge the same amount. So it's hard to go out and then expect to have the right oils, to have high quality ingredients, unless I'm sure there's special restaurants that are very strictly doing that, but you pay for that. So whole foods diet is basically anything unprocessed, which is the ingredients the things that it's made of are very few. You have your beans in there, and you have your vegetables, and then you have your water, and then you can count them. As soon as you have long words, as soon as it's preserved, as soon as it's like goes through some shelf life, as soon as it goes through um, some industry that's trying to make some money off of it, then you are the end, not the end user, you're the end loser. Yeah, I just made that up. So, so unprocessed foods, what they do is you're getting that huge spectrum in between the vitamins and through the food, and there's absolutely no replacement to that. And the way those vitamins work as well have a process that works better than when supplements they have extracted them into a supplement. So number one, we're not going to talk too much about mental health. Because I'm trying to get to the last part, but for the lifestyle aspects, I think 80 to 90% of your diet should be home and minimal ingredient in its natural state. Not natural state, but in starting from its natural state, and then you prepare it. That's so you can ferment, like we talked about. Fermentation. I mean, this is still a whole food. Boiling or cooking is still a whole food, but it's not. It doesn't mean I'm telling you that you have to eat everything raw. That is not what I'm saying, because eating raw has problems too, and that's one of the errors again with these Western diets, these fad diets that everyone's like, oh, I'm going to just eat everything completely off the tree, and then you can't digest it properly. So supplements also would be needed by somebody who is eating just everything raw, because you can't get everything from that. It opens up the digestive process by cooking methods. So, and then, so light, we're talking about our early morning, light, and then nighttime, not high. There's no supplement, there's no replacement that can be made for the spectrum of food in between your whole foods, as well as having sunlight. You can't take vitamin D. I'm sure everyone heard of it. I didn't cover it in this course, but people will say, I don't get enough sunlight, so I take vitamin D. That's actually not an adequate replacement, because vitamin D through a pill cannot do what sun is doing. Yes, you might bring some levels of vitamin D up, but skin, your exposure to sunlight through your skin and your eyes has other effects, right? And that has to do with your hormones and your inflammation and your mood and your various chemicals. Other thing that the supplement will always be below is sleep. So sleep is our, I would say what, I mean, actually, if I could probably choose, it's hard to choose, but if I could choose, I might put sleep as the number one. I might. Of course, it doesn't take the place of not exercising either, so if you're sleeping all day. But proper sleep, regular sleep at the same time, and not, again, being exposed to high stimulus in the eyes near the last 2 hours of your day. We recently got these red lamps. So we're kind of put these red lights on now. We're going around the house in these red lamps. Just to try to give you more calm in the evening. But natural sunset oftentimes in summertime is possible. Actually, sometimes it's even too late, but in the winters, I know that we do have a little bit more to do in our day, so we have the lamps on. But generally, once the sun goes down, a couple hours before you sleep, it helps your body prepare itself for sleeping, and the early hour of sleeping is when human growth hormone is released. So it's a strong hormone that's needed for our recovery. Up till now, I don't think we would find it. There's no supplement that you can take to just up human growth hormone. I mean, there are some people who do say take arginine, or there are some supplements and amino acids. They say I'm not convinced, and I haven't seen a study. Maybe there might be something that comes out later, but I don't think anything will be. There's no replacement to sleep. So there's no way you can release that same amount of hormone through a healthy lifestyle, except through the proper sleep. So sleep is something before you. Now, giving all these things, I'm going to try to guide you guys to, if you are going to choose supplements, and this is what you look at first. So the sleep, because it deeply influences how we heal, how we think, even when we're, if you sleep at a healthy hour before 11, between 10 and 11, then it allows our brains to also heal and bring our, that's actually where our brain becomes, where all the learning happens. Even though we learned it during the day, at night it's where it just throws all the extra information out and reorganizes our patterns of thinking. So the sleep pattern is actually essential for our brain development, for healing, for decreasing inflammation, for regulating our hormones, for longevity, for energy throughout the day. So if we're taking supplements because we're not have energy during the day, or we're trying to rectify our mitochondria, or we're trying to think better, then also a wrong move, right? There's no replacement to this. And then
what's the recommended time to wake up in the morning? Like you say you go to bed about between 10 and 11.
if you go to bed between 10 and 11, yeah, that's a good time. I'm also giving you the wisdom from traditional Chinese medicine. So they say if you sleep too early, your body's also not ready to sleep, and it can be, there's times it's not good to sleep.
So what time do you get up in the morning then? Like what do they say is the best time?
So different people need different amounts of sleep too. This whole thing about it has to be 8 hours is also, I haven't seen that that's applicable to everybody. Naps are pretty across the board, seem to be beneficial before an early time. So if you wake up early, you're still good. And if there's an energy crash, to take a nap is extremely beneficial. There's like lots of research behind this, and it could be 10, 15 minutes to 90 minutes. The 90 minutes is a full cycle where you get into REM. Someone loves their naps or something. Yeah. Yep. So the key there is early sleep before, not keep staying up on your laptop or the workaholics. I'm bad too, sometimes like working late. So you could turn that blue screen off, and then a good 2 hours before, and then if you can sleep before 11, waking up early, if your body naturally allows you to, I think it's totally okay. But you might need to make it up if you have an energy crash later. So different people need a different amount. So some people wake up at 4 a.m. Some people wake up at 7 a.m. Some people wake up in between that and then get a nap, right? So I think would be sufficient. But in the early mornings, like you're like 9 o'clock, your body's rising. So your levels of energy and your levels for sleep are now going down. So it's good not to disrupt that. So the only way to do that is having early sleep for the maximum release of your growth hormone and for your energy throughout the day. Yes?
So we've always been brought up that, a pattern. So I go to bed at 1:30, 2 o'clock every morning.
A.M.
A.M.
Okay.
And I get up at 9-ish.
Okay.
But it's consistent. Like it's every night. It's not.
Okay.
On Saturday night, let's go party or.
Right. That's your schedule. That's my
schedule.
But you've made it that way.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, by choice.
By choice, yeah, because you can be like nighttime activity. Yeah, so but you're missing out on a very particular window of growth hormone, and that growth hormone is like it's like golden, and you I guess take naps I guess sometime. Okay, so I'm not sure. Like everyone has the body fix probably adapts in some way. So I don't know how and what is happening in your particular case, but it's not ideal. So it all it might be worth it, right? I don't know. It might be like that's the best time that I have for my friends. Social. Oh yeah. So where is the social connection? Yeah. So lifestyle design, the social connection is also so important. I can't even. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I should put that first. I don't know. But and that is it also ties in. Well, each of these ties into the mental actually, but the social part is key. So there's sometimes I don't know if you've ever been on like if you're too robotically strict. Oh, it is 10 o'clock. I have to get my beauty sleep, and everyone's up and hanging out, and they're laughing and everything. And you go to your hit the sack. Well, that environment actually may improve everyone's health, right? From just the interaction. So I'm not definitely not telling you to be a robot, but if all else is equal, and that's what I'm saying. If all else is equal, sleeping early is hugely beneficial. Huge. Like I would. It's so big that I would argue to put it as the lifestyle design that's one of the most important things. Okay, so and that covers everything. And breathing work. Yes, this is if you've seen babies, they're sleeping and their bellies expand and they go out all the way and that breathing is just natural. As soon as we get into our stressful periods, we become, how do you say, we shorten our breath. Our muscles contract around our chest and our back, and we take shorter breaths, and it has an effect on our hormones and our neurological system, our vagus nerve. And all of that is has impact on our health. So you can actually really calm your nervous system down, your blood pressure, all of those things just through your breath. So we could actually go on about this for a long time because the breath is so important. I don't know if I wouldn't put it at the front, but exercises. Everything's my top. Yeah. So you have to have, but yeah, I guess try to understand the importance of each of these. So these are things that if we understand, then bringing it into our awareness before we try to figure out how to supplement is essential. I wanted to kind of responsibly throw that out there. So now we go to supplements. How do you decide what kind of supplements you might need based on these patterns? The importance of these more important critical health factors. So I think when people come into my practice and when people ask me all the time, what kind of supplements should I take? I'm not feeling 100%. So the first thing I usually ask about is energy. And if you do not have good energy throughout the day, then the first thing, maybe one of the first things to look at is sleep. So sometimes it is food because diet is so bad nowadays, and people are so unaware. I had a patient once, and she was eating. There's these canned meats called Spam. You know the Spam? Okay, you guys know. All right, everyone laughed. Okay, so she was eating Spam for every meal, and we had to negotiate. I usually try to negotiate for people to get a little bit better. Let me shut the door. So our negotiation strategy was literally, okay, can we agree just not to have spam for one meal, right? You had to start at that level. And then it was just like pastries and donuts and very processed foods. So for her energy problems, it was like sleep. It was before sleep, it was nutrition.
Did they have a reason for?
It was cheap. They liked the taste. Easy to prepare. They just I think you just cut it. Do you just cut it? I never even had it in my life.
I've never touched something like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Could be a comfort food to them, right?
Yeah, people are addicted to things too.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't know. Like there's nowadays you can buy things like this that are I guess they're so affordable that you could have.
It's junky, it's jumpy. It's something that came out during World War II.
Okay.
And it's just processed leftover pieces of pork,
Mhm.
and it's all cooked, it's salted.
And salt, yeah,
Right,
yeah, and
so-
preservatives.
preservatives.
And things that are very very difficult. You have to process them out. So and then we move to like, okay, can you have a slice of a cucumber in a day, or you know? So, but usually I can identify the sleep. So the first question is, if you have energy problems, then how is your sleep? So we should look at sleep. For the first thing we look at for our energy is sleep. And how do you know your energy is low? You can look at children where they wake up and they're woo, bouncing out of bed, right? And like running around, and then night comes and they're like anywhere and they'll just fall asleep. So we can do that. As we age, there's something called melatonin that you can get as a supplement too. We'll probably talk about that in a few minutes. But it does go down over as we age. But melatonin is not the only factor that makes us sleep. So with sleep, you have to look at your time you're waking up, the light you're being exposed to, the energy that you're having, whether or not you're sleeping early, if you're having any exposure to light before you sleep, if you're sleeping easily, and if you're waking up in the middle of the night. Right? So sometimes people wake up around 1 or 2 a.m., right? And that in the Chinese medicine, this is a particular problem with the liver. And it means that it's hypertense. And that can be affected by things like, now we can look at what you're eating. So these are all the things, if you're doing everything right and now you're waking up, if you're falling asleep and you're waking up, I think that's the first part that you look at then as your food. All right? Okay, so now, let's say you've done everything right, you wake up in the morning on time, you have energy during the day, maybe some crashes, you're not figuring out, hey, why is this happening to me when my sleep is not bad? But because I do wake up at like 1 or 2 a.m. I wake up. So, the first thing then to look at is caffeine intake. Okay, because when the energy is low, oftentimes there's a crash at somewhere in the afternoon where people take coffee. All right, if you're taking coffee after like noonish, by noonish, if you're taking coffee, even if you don't feel it, if you're like, oh, I can drink coffee and sleep. There's people who are completely like that. I understand, but their sleep is actually disturbed. Even though they may be able to fall asleep, it's not as sound as those who don't take coffee. So if you have that coffee, or specifically the supplement, now we're talking about supplements, caffeine earlier on in the day, then it'll come out of the system and not affect you by night. But if you take coffee or a caffeine supplement, people use that for energy, then if they do fall asleep, they could be potentially tense, and their sleep quality is affected. Yes.
I remember one of the things that they talked about for shift work, they tried to pass this off as a good idea.
Shift work. Oh.
They said
So
that
hard
if you drink a cup of coffee, I don't do any caffeine at all, but if you drink a cup of coffee, go have a nap, and then the caffeine will kick in, and you'll wake up after your nap and you will feel fabulous.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. You can use caffeine like that. Yes.
And it was just like, oh my God,
Tricks
so
of caffeine.
hard.
Yeah.
It seems so backwards to me.
I agree with that. Yes, very. It's but shift work is so. Okay, so now you understand the process. Energy, sleep. Sleep is good. Waking up it. So now you look at the what is the particular, and now what in the diet is causing that. So the if falling asleep is not a problem, okay. If it is a problem and you're just kind of wound up and even these the light and the circadian is not working. Sometimes people are like wound up because even their mind is stressed. It could be an issue that's happening in your life. This is common. You can take some herbal teas, like chamomile. These are good teas in an evening to take. They have ingredients in them that help you to fall asleep a little bit easier. Um, things like lavender. I'm not sure. I can look at the studies. And there's something called passion flower. Passion flower. Very good herb. It works for some. Doesn't work for everybody. Um, there's also not choline. It's I'll get back to slipping my mind right now. But we're not talking about the falling asleep part. But herbal teas and these things can help. Sometimes it's just our neurological pathways. Some people get into this pattern of, oh, I can't sleep before I'm just not used to it, so that's almost like a placebo, right? Sometimes people will take a pill and it's actually not doing anything, but we think that it's doing something, and so that there's a lot of science between the placebo effect that we think that something's having an effect, but all of this can be overcome. It takes a little time. Once we start accepting or seeing the pattern of falling asleep early, then that neural pathway gets connected faster and faster, and then we're able to sleep faster too. But waking up is its own issue. So you have to look at the caffeine, and then you have to look at how worked up the nervous system is. So that's where the herbs that we spoke about earlier, the adaptogens, come in. Do you remember? Does anyone remember what an adaptogen was? You can look through your notes. They're now commonly being mixed into various supplements. Adaptogen. It's but yes, you can. Yep, you can. And now you can even you can get. This would be fun actually to go on a small walk and identify some things.
How did you learn to be able to identify them?
I used to go to on herbal walks. The question was how did I learn how to do identification? I'm actually not that good at identifying. The ones I'm good at, once you know them, then you're able to identify them. But there's some people who can just like look at anywhere and be, oh, that's this, oh, that's this. And, you can't go force it. Like, we're here for a hike. Can we walk a little bit? But you can't walk with them because they're identifying everything. You can hike with me. You might be able to go for 100 meters, and I was like, oh, I know that one. So I did that because of going with herbalists, and you walk around, and then you just become familiar with them. Now, actually, this is a beautiful thing about Google. You can actually identify them with it. You can look at it, and then you
I've
take.
got a couple of those things on my phone, and it'll not identify a mushroom. It'll say it's a mushroom, but they will not identify the species because they don't want to be held accountable.
The wrong one.
So it'll just say it's a mushroom.
Oh,
So I can figure that much out for myself.
In air pro, the axe is where we are, we don't get a very good smell. So you go and take a picture, you run it back to the leaf or something, I have to take a picture.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
And then it goes, it wants another picture. Right back. Find the right one.
Interesting. So, okay, where are we at now? So that's where the adaptogens come in, all right? And so your formula, so here's a side note, I also wanted to discuss this as well. Adaptogens, you'll always find formulas. Because it's hard for me to talk about every single herb right now, and many of the herbs, because we're just going to get into too many topics. So a lot of times when you find when you bought your mushroom blend, what did they say? It was like a mushroom blend for sleep or something?
I just researched, because there's a number of them out there.
Yes.
Better, and so there's different kinds that I've heard of over the past months that I've been looking at. And
So
I
give us a couple names.
Well, you already said that. but you can
Oh, turkey tail. Okay, so these ones. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mentioned the common ones. Yes. Okay.
yeah, there's a few of them. Those labs, I don't know if that.
Okay.
anybody-
But is it talking? What does it tell you
It
about?
has a number of different
Right.
versions in the,
Right.
in the,
Okay.
and they talk about all those things. It's called superfood secrets. or
Okay.
something.
Yeah. So now when you use the adaptogens, so it's good to. I think it's very okay to use formulas. What I would say, so in this line of adaptogen herbs and as a supplement, it's good to cycle them. So, and that's not because you're dependent on them, all right? Because was talking about that sleep itself is a way that your body can adapt to your cycle, and you'll get sleep at the right time. But if you use supplements to help you, then you're not usually going to become dependent on them to sleep, because unless you think it's happening that way, it's a placebo. So use a supplement to help your sleep become deeper and go into REM and be more restful. Don't fear that it's going to make you dependent. However, it's good to cycle. So you have a couple weeks, a month, 2 months on, take a break. If you're traveling or something or doing something else, it's okay to take a break. And so it reminds the body that you're not sleeping because of the supplement. You're sleeping because of your cycle. This is quite key, because people always ask you, should I just keep on taking supplements all the time? I lean towards cycling supplements. Okay, that's mine.
Saying take something different, just stop.
You could take a break from it and take something different. You could. You could stop altogether too. Yeah, but because it's not the same supplement over and over again. So
It breaks all the time.
yeah, great, exactly. This is the healthy way of taking supplements
Yeah.
to augment because we're using supplements to augment something, and once it's at a good state, then we should be ideally without that supplement. But as we age, as you're younger, so okay, so a few tangents here. Younger people, and I'm anticipating some questions, right? Because I feel I don't advocate. I just get. I'm just saying that I know these good questions are gonna come. Should I give my kids supplements, right? Kids don't usually need supplements, right? Because their body is so resilient that they're able to regulate their systems much better as compared to us as we're aging. It causes us to be more sensitive to small things that throw things off. So uh, supplements for children, I would say, are less necessary and could probably be avoided if possible. The focus should be absolutely exercise and light and sleep, nutrition, social, right? We are using it to augment. Now that augmentation can be done through adaptogens, then we need to cycle a little bit or take days off, like we're saying. Okay, then okay, let's take a few minutes break if you want to use the washroom. You got a drink of water or anything, then we can do that now. And then I will leave. I'll try to leave some time so that you can ask questions for any of the lectures. And then just get a drink of water too.
Is that what the one?
Oh, Cordalis. Yeah. Yes, so that's a Chinese one. Yeah, very good. Good stuff in there.
Tragically, it's Bob Johnson was on. So we went down to Sanderson Center, and Johnson said, bought out Sanderson Center. So you can watch it, the video of the live show. We went over a smoking, so it was a bigger party going across the street and outside.
And that the repetition helps.
I liked how it was, you were able to, so it's like, oh, okay, that's what that does, and that's what this does. Like,
Yes.
a couple of the more